So it's hard to believe that the season for how Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom is going to be coming to an end pretty soon here. We just completed watching episode number 23, and in this episode, I can for sure say my favorite part of this episode was the interaction with YUNO, and it just goes to show you how much care and how much worry Soma ends up having for YUNO, and it's funny how she just ended up being on the scene as being one of the adventurer party, kind of like being one of the ones that's kind of like surrounding the refugee stuff. She definitely is one of the ones in their party that took the quest to go and make sure that the encampment was okay in the refugee party. But my favorite scene is definitely the fact that Soma risked himself to go save YUNO because he was definitely concerned for her safety, right? Which good for him, as he should be. Then he goes into a sword fight, and he does a little parry stuff, which is awesome. But then YUNO, obviously you have Lisha, but then you have YUNO who goes in, and she's like, "Yo, how do you know who I am?" And they're immediately like they have an immediate connection, and I can't wait till she finds out that the boy you crushing on, based on his dark magic, control, Masuhiba, whatever the hell he calls his puppet. That the boy you're crushing on is king of the kingdom. I can't wait till that kind of comes together. But I really want YUNO to have more spotlight and more time in the spotlight, in the sunshine of this series so far, because I freaking love YUNO so much. I think she's a really cute character. I like when she got herself a little drunky in the tavern where they were celebrating. I love all of that. So I hope that she comes back into the picture. And I love how Lisha gets jealous as well, because she was like, "Yo, who is that? Why are you so chummy?" Even though it's like, yo, you know who YUNO is, right? She knows who she is. She's met her before. So I think she just kind of meant, it might have been a translation thing, but I definitely meant she was trying to get Soma caught up there. Like, yo, why are you so chummy with her all of a sudden? Like, you're supposed to not know her, right? But I definitely really enjoyed all that scene. I'm glad that he's taking lessons. I'm glad that he's learning on how to defend himself. I'm glad that he's taking all of that serious, because obviously he has his magic, his control magic that he can use, but he does need to learn certain self-defense methods, especially within this world that he's living in. He's going to definitely be somebody who can come under attack, and can come under attack often enough to where he needs to learn a lot of those defenses, So that's definitely going to be something that is going to be proven. It's going to be proof to his benefit once everything is obviously all said and done. So definitely really love that part of the episode. The rest of it, I love how we dug really deep into how him and his people have really dug into the slums, how they basically rebuilt his slums. He basically destroyed all the slums and rebuilt them from the ground up. He turned everything upside his head. He rebuilt all of the different buildings that were in the slums. He built roads. He cleaned it up, and he provided sanitation jobs to everybody living in the slums so that they could keep themselves afloat and keep his kingdom to a certain level that's going to be above all other kingdoms, right? Because not all typical kingdoms have the slums. And those are wooden houses and shit and crappy, and people are diseased and live there. So most kingdoms tend to have that, but because he is utilizing the method of sanitation jobs and rebuilding and giving them work, governmental work, to keep their area of living, of dwelling alive and clean, it puts that funds back into the kingdom and puts that cycle in the kingdom, and you also employ the people who are there, which I really love that he's that forward thinking. By employing the people there, you immediately put your population over a different populace of people, because just by nature of them having work and having employment, their education level kind of goes up, and their systematic level goes up a little bit. Then take it one step further, and Ginger, the slave trader that we got introduced to last episode, or the episode before last, comes back into the mix. And Soma introduced a lunch program, which I love that. which is educating all kids under 12, and if they attend, which they're having really good attendance, they get lunch, which helps out families because that's one less meal that they have to put on the table, essentially. So basically, they have really high attendance for all their kids. Once all that happens at nights, after the adults clock out, they have the opportunity to come and also learn the education, how to learn how to read and write and arithmetic and everything. Excuse me, guys. And that is awesome as well. But their attendance is lower, so one of Soma's problems that he has to solve now going forward is to figure out how to get that attendance higher so that the people there can learn all these abilities, because he has plans for them once they're able to kind of pull themselves up and be on an upper echelon of education level. He wants them to be, social workers. He wants them to, to be architects and all kinds of other things that they could be, so they can have some individualization and so they can have some creative efforts there, so he can try and basically take these subsets of people who now are educated, and as they begin thinking for themselves, they could begin creating things that could better the kingdom. Much like any other society, which I really love that view quite a bit. So he has a challenge in front of him, which is getting a better attendance level for all of the adults within the kingdom. And if he can solve that, which might be like the promise of different jobs, which is going to be betterment for their families and stuff, I think that's going to be really, really good. So I tell you guys all the time, I tell you all the time that I love that this anime goes so deep on all of this thought that is put into everything that Soma is trying to accomplish here within the kingdom. And when we get to see it come to fruition, it's just a beautiful thing to see. And also, the last thing I'll touch on, he's also creating antibiotics. He's creating medicine. He's creating ways to increase pathogens within people to fight off diseases, to prolong their life. He's figuring out how to distribute that. Thankfully, there's a race of people who can have like microscopic sight, and he's partnering with those people. He has doctors now who are coming and sanitizing the slums, and he is introducing like this system to where the kingdom, the elf reading kingdom, is going to be the leader within the world that's introducing all of these methods, which all other kingdoms are going to have to work with him at some point. Because he is just a step above all of them, which leads me back to why I think he will end up marrying the Empire's princess at some point, because of everything that he's doing here. She's the goddess, right? Or she's like, the saint or whatever. So she's going to want to spread that goodwill to all people, right? And that just puts him at the leader, at the forefront of all that. So eventually, I know somewhere down season 3, so season 4, whenever down the line, that'll end up happening as well, too. But I'll leave you guys on that. Love this anime. Definitely. Oh, the dub is it's really good too. So if you guys want to go watch the dub, I definitely suggest going and watch the dub. I rewatched the whole first season dubbed, and it's really good to watch it dubbed too, because you can play on your Nintendo Switch or whatever as you watch it. But then you can also get some things that maybe you kind of missed here and there as you were watching the show. So I definitely highly suggest watching the dub as well. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave you guys on that. Thank you guys for joining me for another week of How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. And Soma and YUNO. Can't wait for matrimony there. Can't wait for her to be one of the wives. But regardless, I'll see you guys, my friends, next week for episode 24. I cannot freaking believe it. We've covered 24 episodes nearly of this anime on the channel. So it's insane. All right, see you guys next week. Peace out.